everyone, this is Nnena and I'm here alone today, and welcome back to our channel at Jama, okay, where we talk taste and travel. So I know you guys saw the last video, well, hopefully you did, and this video is just a follow-up since it already makes sense. I already talked about moving, just some reasons why I decided to move to Charlotte, North Carolina from West Orange, New Jersey. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I've been thinking about moving for a long time, so it's not like randomly, like I just got up during the pandemic and said, oh, I want to move to this place. No, that kind of would be a little weird, but I'm sure people are still doing it. So I've always wanted to move and live by myself and have that experience before I get married, just because I don't know, it's just something I've never done before. Like, yeah, I went to college. I guess that sort of counts because there's some people that never even lived on campus. But I just always felt like you're not a real full adult until you live on your own. Not saying I was at home and I wasn't responsible, and not saying that I wasn't independent. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I still had my mom there, and I always knew that I would be good in a way, if that makes sense. Like, I wasn't lazy or not working because I lived in my mother's house, but I just feel like it's still, whether you want to accept it or not, I'm only speaking for myself, I still feel like living at home can make you a little lax. Like, make you a little lax because you're not paying all these bills. Like, even for, well, in my case, I was helping out. I paid some bills in the house, but it's nothing compared to a mortgage, nothing compared to paying rent, nothing compared to paying all these accumulated bills. I've never paid a car note. You know, I was using a used car, so like I had minimal bills. What prolonged me moving, honestly, is because I do have a lot of student loan debt, okay, and I finally have really started working that in the past 2 years, working as a nurse. So I just didn't think it was feasible to take all that debt. You know, I got offered a job 5 minutes from my house, decent salary. Why am I gonna leave and say I want to go so I don't have any savings? I have a bunch of loans. I have credit card debt from credit cards I used to pay my tuition my last couple of semesters of nursing school. So at that point, I'm just like, this doesn't make sense. That wasn't even on my mind moving at that point. It just, I mean, I looked at some jobs like in Texas, but realistically, it just wouldn't even have made sense. But I felt like now was the perfect time. With everything going on, I signed my lease ending of May for a move-in date in August. Yeah, I moved about a month ago. So something I did like way in advance, even during the pandemic, because it just came to a point like, I'm seeing people here getting on international flights and going to parties, and I'm just like, if people are actually doing this, I can move. Like, it's not the end of the world. Only concern was getting on a plane, which is an hour flight, wear your mask, and go to where you have to go. Like, people are here like living La Vida Loca, and I'm worried about moving. So I'm just like, you know, whatever, I'm still gonna do it. I didn't tell my mother until about like a week before, and surprisingly she was actually like very positive, because I've been hinting it over the past year. It's not something I just got up and said a week before, hey, I'm moving. I've been making comments about it. She knows, like, she's not like, she would say like negative stuff, trying to discourage me, but she just got over it. And I heard her talking to my aunt, her sister, and she was like, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm holding them back in life. So I'm just happy she finally understood. She actually came with me, moved me in. But anyway, back to business. I don't want to start rambling. 5 main reasons why I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. Number one reason was I wanted my space. That's just the reality. Like, I really wanted my space, and being at home, I'm so grateful for everything my mother has done for me, especially as a single mom. She's gone above and beyond. She's never asked me for anything, you know. Like, I've grown up having friends who their parents actually were relying on them, and I've never had this situation. Just because my mom can do it, or just because she has a house, doesn't mean I have to live with her forever. Like, I just feel like that's a bit unreasonable. Like, I need my space. There's certain boundaries I could not set in my mother's house. I can't tell my mother who to let in her house, who not to let in her house. I can't tell my mother how to raise her child. You know what I mean? I can't tell my mother what not to buy, or what to buy, or not to buy the junk food so I'm not tempted. There's just certain little things you even take for granted. Like, there's certain boundaries. I can't tell my mother, stop speaking on speakerphone, I'm trying to go to sleep. You know what I mean? Even though I would hint it, and then it's her house. If you don't like those things and they bother you, go get your own place. Like, little things that just used to annoy me, like listening to your prayer line until 11 p.m. I love God. I'm a lover of God. But like, certain things, it's like, why does it have to be on speaker? You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to go to sleep. I struggle with insomnia. Like, just little things. Like, my mom, you know, like everyone, even just not my mom, like my sister, my brother, you know, just everything. Like, I love everyone, but like, there's a point in life you need your space. Second reason why I really always want to move and I chose Charlotte is because I really wanted better weather. Like, I am not a cold girl. Like, that doesn't sound right, but I am not someone who belongs in the Northeast. I'm just not. You can ask my cousins, we fight when they're over about air conditioning. I don't sleep with AC. I don't sleep with a fan. For me to put AC on, the temperature has to be at least 85 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Like, I'm good. Like, I like being hot. It doesn't bother me. I get cold so easily. Like, I have to sleep with socks. Like, I have to sleep with a blanket all throughout the year. Like, I really get cold easily. Like, I don't like the cold. I'm tired of Northeast. I got an accident last December coming down the hill in the snow. Like, it's just, I'm just so tired of that life. Like, I just can't do it. Like, my mood, like, I just feel like there's nothing to do. Everyone's in the house. It's cold. It's boring. Like, I just didn't want to be in that type of weather anymore. So that's the second reason. Third reason why I say I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina is because I wanted to always live in the South, right? Because warm weather, I could have went to California, you know what I mean? I could have went to the West Coast. I never really cared for moving that far, you know? Even though I do like states like Arizona, I wouldn't mind living there, but I just felt like it was too far, like, to start off with. And at least being down here is literally like an hour flight to Newark. So I wanted to be far enough to the point that, like, I can't always just get up in a car and say I want to drive home, right? But I don't want to be too far to the point that I need to get like on a 5-hour flight to go home. And also, yeah, so the distance. And then the fourth reason is that I really wanted to be in an environment, in a state that had more African Americans in New Jersey. Like, that was just something that was important to me, especially with everything that's going on. Like, I don't want it to be that every time, like, I'm in an affluent area or every time I'm somewhere nice, like, there's no one that looks like me. And I feel like that's like a big issue sometimes in the Northeast. Like, I would find that, like, either the events are super white or like they're super ratchet. And it was hard to find like a diverse mix of things to do. That's just my opinion. I feel like it was hard to find like diversity. It's like if you want to go to like, the nice places, like, you're gonna be like the only black person there, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I know me and my sister argue about this all the time. Like, I don't want to walk in a place and people are looking at me weird and I stand out. So I already stand out, like I'm 6'1", meaning that they're twins. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be in a more diverse environment. Like, you know, like New Jersey, you can't even compare. Like, North Carolina has way more black people. The issues, like, Charlotte is different. There's so many parts of Charlotte. I'm actually like in the uptown South End area. So to be honest, it is a bit white. Like, so it's just a part of life. I'm realizing that it's sad, but it's true. Unless you go to certain places like Atlanta or certain places where there's just a lot of like well-to-do black people, it just seems that whenever you want to be in a nice environment, whenever you want to like elevate yourself, it's just less of us around. And like, there's no reason. I don't know how people cannot acknowledge systemic racism, not acknowledge like certain biases that are like holding people down, because it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, so that's my fourth reason I want to be around more black people. And I would say my final reason for picking Charlotte is because I do have 3 half-sisters. I didn't grow up with them, but I met them when I was doing my first degree, so like 18, 19 for the first time. And they do live in an area about 45 minutes from Charlotte. So in my mind, like, I visited them a couple of times. Like, I was always familiar with, oh, like, I would fly into Charlotte, then we would drive like 45 minutes all highway to where they live. So I knew I couldn't live over there because it's a bit too south for me. That's the only place outside of New Jersey that I had some type of connection to and I knew about. Because I've only lived in New Jersey and Philadelphia for school. But besides that, like, I didn't grow up really like traveling to any relatives in different states or really like exploring the US, to be honest. Like, there's so many states I've never even been to. So, you know, like, it is important to just have someone around that you know. I wasn't gonna say, oh, I don't know 20 people, so I'm not gonna move. I need to know 5 people. I need to move with someone. No, people still think what I did is weird. It might be weird for some people, but I just came to a point. I'm getting older. Like, when am I gonna do this? If I can't do this now, am I gonna be doing this in my 30s? You know what I mean? Let's be real. The older you get, usually it's harder to take risks because you think too much. Things are too calculated. You're too smart. You have too much wisdom. You're too informed. You're too woke almost, you know? So I'm just like, if I don't do this now, I might be in my 30s to live with my mom, and nothing's wrong with that. Before someone come at me for the people that want to do that, but I just realized there's more to life. Like, I'd rather sacrifice bags, shoes, and vacations and have my own place. That's just me. Like, there's people that argue. Like, I just feel like it's kind of weird. And let's be real, the culture. I am Nigerian American. I'm a first gen. It is not weird at all for me to be living at home with my mom at this age, at all. In other culture, they'll look at you like, huh? American friends be like, what? Huh? Like, that's not weird. Like people, like, it's becoming a norm amongst everyone nowadays because of the student loan debt crisis. Let's be real, things are so expensive, inflation, joblessness. So overall, it's not just with Africans, but I'm saying with Africans, like no one will look at you funny being 30-something living with your parents, especially as a woman, right? Because a lot of parents don't even want you to leave the house, because my mother said it. She was like, I feel like girls leave the house so they can be promiscuous and sleep around. I'm like, you don't think I could do that if I really wanted to while you're at work 80 hours a week? Like, you don't think if I was gonna get pregnant, I would have done that already? Like, I'm not trying to, I'm not gonna be unreasonable. I see the point to an extent, because there's some friends that I did have growing up, their parents were so strict, like they can't even leave their house. Like they can't even go outside, like they can't do nothing. So like, if you're in that extreme situation, of course you're gonna want your place. And maybe when you get your place, you're gonna start experimenting because you never had the chance to do those type of things. But that wasn't my case. Like those are just things, I don't care about jumping off. That's why I'm not doing it. I'm not jumping off because of my mom or my this or my that. Like that's just not my character. Like I don't sleep around. That's not what I do. You know, so I understand it to an extent. You know, you might be lonely, you know, you might want companionship. Maybe you make a lot of bad choices because you live on your own. You're just lacking that companionship, versus if you live with your family, you would have your family around and maybe you wouldn't yearn that type of attention. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. Maybe one day. But yeah, so I just feel like it comes to a point that you just have, in my opinion, like you just have to sacrifice. Like the older I get, I realize that we all spend money just on different things. There are some people who are really living in poverty. That's another subset of people. But for the average American who is like middle class, we all spend money. It's just what you choose to spend it on. So I was living at home. I was traveling like 4 times a year. I don't expect to do that now in an apartment. Like that's just the reality. It's a sacrifice I'm gonna have to do, and especially with the virus and everything that's going on, that might not even be an option right now. You know, because you go to some countries, you have work, you want to come back, they want you to quarantine for 14 days, and then you take a 1-week vacation. So are they going to give you 3 weeks or 4 weeks? You know, so just little things like that. I just feel like I've grown up. I've had so much experience, especially growing up in a single family household. And I just feel like sometimes we use money as an excuse. Like money is definitely needed. It's important. Like I wouldn't be able to move here if I didn't save money. I wouldn't be able to move here if I wasn't making money. But at the same time, there's people who still have enough money and will use money as an excuse because they're just scared. And it's okay to be scared. It is scary doing something, making big life changes. It's scary moving by yourself for the first time. It's scary getting married. It's scary having children. But those are all, you know, but those are all things that are part of life. So just because it's scary doesn't mean I'm never gonna do it. So I do think that, I mean, personally, I do think a lot of African parents need to encourage their children to live away, because I think some of them, especially the boys, are just spoiling them. That's my honest opinion. I feel like a lot of the parents, they think that they're helping their kids, but you're spoiling him. He comes home, he has rice, he has gari to eat, he has this, he gives you this small amount of money. Then you wonder why he's not interested or think about getting married. His mother's his wife. His mother's his girlfriend. Like basically, like, you know what I mean? I just feel like there's another way you start thinking. Even though I haven't even been by myself for like just a little over a month, there's another way you start thinking. There's another way you start rationalizing. There's another way you start looking at life when you're by yourself. I feel like I've really been able to just like sit down and think about some things and have like a clear head. Not my mother yelling at my brother, not my sister watching her Nigerian movie, not this person doing that. Like literally you're just on your own with your own thoughts. You have to deal with things you don't want to deal with. You have to deal with yourself. And I think that sometimes, you know, is that fear, is just that, I don't know, there's just so many things, but I'm just so grateful to God I was able to move. I'm so grateful I was able to take this step. I'm so grateful I didn't let fear hold me back, because it was so needed. Like I feel so much better right now. Not like I was coming from a terrible environment, but just it comes to a point I just felt like I was trying to tell her how to run her house, and that's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. My name is not on the what do they call it? Whatever it is they do. My name is not on it. It is her house. If she wants to bring 10 guests over and let them stay for 1 year, that's her choice. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things I wouldn't let happen. There's certain boundaries I have learned that I need to set. But my mother, especially our culture, that's another video for another day. But anyway, those are the main reasons why I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'll do a video coming up, which basically just talks, I'll just give some more details probably about the city in general. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Nnena alone on Ejima. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section, have you thought about moving? Like, are you thinking about moving to Charlotte? You know, I can give you some tips. I did research for like a year, like online, like literally, but you know, you still learn every day. But let me know in the comment section. I'll talk to you later. Bye.